back to my channel. This is Nana Chats. Let's talk the pros and cons of school online. 5% of lawyers are black. Ground. It is okay for you to open up and swallow me now. I wanted to die. It's my padfolio. You see it? You see it? The judge was yelling, the prosecution was yelling, the defense was yelling, like everybody was yelling.
My story, mom.
This video should be a short video. I'm just gonna quickly talk to you all about the pros and the cons of school online. Some of the things I say might be more specific to law school because, you know, I'm in law school, but I feel like most of the things kind of spread across, you know, so grad school, high school, undergrad, you'll probably see that we have the same pros and cons. This video is for those who just want to listen and know that there's somebody that is here with you feeling the same things that you're feeling, but also for those who might be thinking about going to grad school, especially law school, online. These are some things to think about. Alright, so I'm going to start with the pros. First pro I would say is more sleep time. Obviously, especially if you would be a commuter, you don't have to factor in the time that it would take you to get from home to school and then the time that you would have to take to get up, shower, make sure you look presentable, get dressed and all that. Even if you want to sleep until like an hour before class and take your shower and then go to class, that's also good. So, more sleep time. Another pro. For law school students, the Socratic method doesn't really translate that well over Zoom. This could be a pro or a con depending on what class you're in. It's really hard sometimes for professors, and I feel so bad for them, but it's so hard for them to like cold call people sometimes on Zoom, right? So you cold call someone and they'll just be like, and then you have to call on them again and again and again and be like, are they frozen? Are they just not here? Do they have some type of screenshot of their face up and they're not actually in class? Or the person will unmute themselves to answer the question and it'll be like, and then the professor has to be like, never mind, I'm gonna call on somebody else. So it really doesn't work that well on Zoom. Still works, you can still do it, but it's just not as, you know, on the spot as when you're in class. Also, a lot of students can be like, start looking up the answer if they don't really know it or asking their friends and then be like, yeah, sorry, I forgot I was muted or whatever. So it doesn't really work that well. Another pro, being dressed enough. I'm gonna show y'all my pants. I'm in my funky pants today because because I don't know, I bought these and I don't know where I thought I was gonna wear them outside too, but I can wear these funky pants when I'm in class, you feel me? And just, you know, put on a top, make sure I'm properly dressed up here. There is Zoom etiquette in law school. They were like, make sure you dress professionally, whatever. But at the same time, like, I know they didn't believe that everybody was gonna get up and get like 110% dressed for class. Another pro, you're in the comfort of your own home. Now this works if you have that luxury, right? So if you're not on campus while being in class remotely, as in like on campus because you have some classes on campus, or on campus as in you live in a residence hall because you couldn't stay in the country that you might have come from for school. You get what I'm saying? So if you have the luxury of being in your own home and it's quiet enough and it's calm and you can go to class at home and you have good internet access, then being home is actually a pro. You can go use your own bathroom, get free food upstairs. When class is over, you can hop in bed real quick, take a 30-minute nap, and then wake up and do whatever you have to do for your next classes. So that can really be a pro. Another pro, spending time with your family. Okay, so for example, for myself, when I was in law school like in person, I would leave my house at like 6 a.m. So meaning I wouldn't see anybody, maybe my brother because he's getting ready for school, or my mom because she's getting ready to take my brother. So I would leave my house at like 6 a.m. and then get home sometimes around like 9 p.m. Meaning my brother would be asleep already, my mom would be at work already, and then my dad, I might see him unless he's in Ghana, you know? So like I never got to see them. We would be in the house at the same time, but we would just text each other because I live downstairs. So I just text my brother, are you home? Everything okay? Did you eat? Cool, cool. But I wouldn't see him for like 4 days. And then my mom works 2 jobs, so I wouldn't see her for like 5 days. So now that we're all home and we do a lot of the stuff we have to do online, I can just go up to, you know, upstairs and do my homework in their midst. So at least I know that they're there. I get to see their beautiful faces and just love them, you know, love a little bit on them. Participating in things that you might have been too nervous to participate in person. So I know a lot of people who are too nervous to, you know, go to club meetings in person or participate in, for law school, like mock trial, DRS, moot court, stuff like that in person. If it's undergrad, maybe like the singing club or or like theater, or just, you know, some people have social anxiety, so being around a lot of people in person could make people nervous. But because you're at home and well, for now a lot of the things are at home, you know, you could just pull up and you could do it. Like me, last year I was so nervous to do mock trial, and this year I was like, nah, I'm gonna do it. And even though I was still nervous, it did help a little bit that we were online. Now that I'm on the mock trial team, I definitely have to build up my confidence because I'm gonna be doing in person in the future. Hopefully next year we won't still be stuck inside, but you know, it helped me to at least get my foot in the door because we were home. So I was like, okay, it's not gonna be that bad on Zoom. Don't worry, relax. It's gonna be fine, you know? So that's a pro. More pros: less travel time. Like I said, you're saving more money, gas, food, makeup, all that. In between class naps, like I said, you're at home, so you get to hop in your bed real quick, take a nap, hop out, get to class. You're not late to class. The thing is, it depends on what type of person you are, but usually it's easy. You just go on, you click on Zoom, and you log in 10 minutes before the class starts. You turn off your camera, you mute your sound, and you do what you was doing to get ready for the class that's gonna start in 10 minutes, but you're already there. So you can't really be late. If you are late, maybe that's something you need to work on within yourself. You can also go to more events. So I know when I was on campus, I couldn't go to as many events because either I had study group or I wasn't going to be on campus that day for the event that was happening. But now everything's online, so we can just connect to the Zoom and be in the meeting. A pro is also that you can teach yourself discipline. In a time like this, when everybody's stuck at home, you still have to do what you have to do. So we can't wallow in our pity and stuff like that. You have to teach yourself how to be disciplined so that you can get the grades and stuff that you want to get. So yeah, that's a pro. You teach yourself discipline. Work and school time. Now, I put this down as a pro because people who are working and in school at the same time can now do that with a bit more ease, because you get on the Zoom calls or whatever and work at the same time because you get on Zoom calls with work, or they give you work remotely. Even if you were in school remotely and working in person, which some people are, you can take your laptop to work, talk about it with your supervisor if they're cool with it. You have your time for classes, you have your work time, stuff like that. So it does make it a bit easier. And a little bit extra time for a hobby. Now, when you're in law school, this isn't really true because I've been struggling just to make these videos, but still, you might have a bit more time to do other things than you would if you were traveling to school all the time in person. Okay, so now we're on the cons. Con number 1. Are we learning anything for real, for real? I don't know. I don't really feel like I'm learning much, or as much as I would be learning if I were in person. Another con: Zoom fatigue. Getting up every day, staring at your screen, you log in, you log out, sign in, mute yourself, unmute, show your face, Zoom etiquette, sit up, breakout rooms, listen to this voice in the distance and try to pay attention for 2 hours. Like, you just get tired of doing that. When you go outside and stuff, different events can happen during the day that make your day more eventful. You know, even though you're going to the same class Mondays and Wednesdays as you always do, there could be some, you see people, you see cars, maybe somebody's driving crazy, maybe there was, you know, a pretty girl on the road or a cute guy. You know, you see people, you see things that make your days not so mundane. But online, you don't really get to see as much. So yeah. A con is that the Socratic method or cold calling doesn't really work that well online. The reason why this is a con is because in some classes, cold calling actually would be really helpful, right? Not because everybody loves to be cold called on, and not because you're prepared all the time, but just because it helps you to stay prepared all the time and stay on your toes. There are certain classes where professors may teach in a certain way that is not going to have you on your toes all the time. You can easily drift off for the entire class. And if they were to cold call, then maybe you'd be able to pay a bit more attention, even though that's that's bad. You should be able to pay attention on your own. But cold calling is a good method for that, right? And also it might help you to understand more of what they're saying rather than them just talking and then moving on to the next thing. So I know somebody would be like, why don't you just ask questions? It's hard to ask questions in those situations because what am I gonna unmute myself to say? I'm gonna raise my hand and be like, Professor, I don't understand anything you're saying. Like, if I don't understand anything, then I can't have a question about one thing because I have no idea what's going on in the class. So sometimes cold calling would help in those situations, and I know some people who would be happier if certain professors would cold call. It's not an everybody thing, it's a some people thing, you feel me? You really have to force yourself to pay attention in some classes that may not be as interesting to you but may be a requirement. So that's a con. Another con is not being able to see your study group as much. When we were in person, we would just, you know, go to lunch together, and during lunch we'd be talking about certain classes, certain things. After class, we just go down to the study area and study for long periods of time. Even if not everybody was there, some people would be there 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, doesn't matter. But we would be able to just meet up with each other and see each other. So now we really can't, and it's hard to, because you're already on Zoom all the time. So I'm sure my study group members and I, where most people are not so gung-ho to get on Zoom again to talk to people through a computer again. Another con is not being able to feel that community. When you're in law school, you feel that community. Everybody's stuck. Everybody's depressed. Everybody's sad. Everybody's tired. Everybody needs help. And you know, in solidarity, you all kind of chin up and move forward. You feel me? Like, I don't know, the community just helps. You already know that everybody's low-key struggling. So it helps you to feel like you're not alone, and it helps you to push forward and do your work, get to where you're trying to go. On Zoom, there's no community, especially if nobody else in your house is going to school like that, kind of by yourself. Another con is people who may have children or are taking care of somebody else in their family, or have friends, or their family is really loud and they live in a small area, stuff like that. It's not conducive to a good learning environment when you're in school online, because you got to pay attention to your kids, you got to pay attention to your pets, you got to pay attention to the person you have to take care of. Having bad internet connection is a con. When you are in school in person, your internet connection matters, but it doesn't matter that much, because if you know you have bad internet connection at home, then you're just gonna do what you have to do with the good internet connection in school because they have free Wi-Fi or whatever, right? But the fact that you have to be in class talking to people through a camera all day, stuff like that, is not great when you have a bad internet connection, because like I said, you can't hear the professor, you keep getting kicked out of the classes because your internet connection is unstable. You're trying to speak to the professor or raise your hand, everything's delayed. You have to do all your work online and it's not really downloading as fast as it should, stuff like that. So that's a big con when going to school online at home. It's also hard to form a community of people when you're online. So if you are on an e-board for a club or organization, or you just need to find a study group, right? Or talk to more people. You kind of don't want to be a creep and look at people's names, look them up on Facebook and email them like, hey, you're in my such and such class, in order to be able to find people to study with or find people to talk to or ask a question to. Being in person, you can just walk up to them and be like, hey, my name is such and such. What's your name? Oh, okay, I think you're in my other class too. Yeah, we should definitely study together if you would like that. Here's my number. Can't do that online. I hope this video was very helpful. I think that's all I have for y'all. It's very confusing. Like, these schools are really trying their best. They can't make everybody happy at the same time. Some people are going to be upset and some people are going to be happy about situations. So they're really trying to do the best that they can. So we should at least give them a little bit of props for that. And also give yourself props, right? You're doing the best that you can. You are doing the best that you can in this situation. You probably didn't actually want to go to school online if you're watching this in COVID times, but you have to, and you've been getting down to business. You feel me? You've been getting down to business. So you've been doing what you have to do. So give yourself a pat on the back. Now, if you're watching this and you want to go to school online, hopefully you can make that decision with more information now and actually properly decide on what you'd like to do. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye guys.